Great. I'd like to call the Town of Rochester Town Board November special workshop meeting to order. If you could all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Alba? Here. Councilman Coleman?
Here.
Councilwoman Sneeson? Here. Councilman Nguyen?
Here.
Supervisor Now?
I'm here. All right, thanks everyone for being here. We have a meeting scheduled to adopt our budget tonight. The only thing I need to add to the agenda, which will be very quick, but at the end of the meeting, we're gonna stop streaming and sign these few bills really quickly, and then we have to have a resolution for the abstract. I have to also do these, so we're gonna just do it all together really quickly. So I just wanted to let you know that. The first item is the discussion of the preliminary budget amendments. So we had talked about making changes to sort of soften the tax increase that we had in the preliminary budget. What you have in front of you is everything that's changing from the preliminary budget. And I wanted to review that with the board. Everything in front of you. I didn't produce anything that's not changing, I guess is what I'm saying. So the short pieces of paper that I literally hot off the presses. This is the level that we're adopting the budget. So all the short pieces is the actual budget. So that we're adopting. The long pieces are the appendices that are the more detailed version of the budget, not this black and white one, but the color ones. This is the appendices. So this is not the budget that we're adopting, but this is how we got the numbers. So we're going to start here. But first, if you look at the long black, with what I'm proposing, we went from a 33% tax increase to 22.96. So the tax levy for general fund is proposed to be $1,143,502, and for highway fund, $1,757,657. So if I have my spreadsheets, just so you know, if we make changes, I have to go through and update everything in the spreadsheet so that because we have to name all the changes in the resolution. But again, those are going to be the changes to the more simplified version of the budget. But that's why it's important. I have to get the numbers basically from this worksheet. Okay, so if we're going to make changes, I'm going to need like some patience so that I can just make sure I get that. Okay, so first we're going to start with general fund. That's the blue long pieces. I'm sorry I did this so quick, I forgot to add page numbers, but then we'll adopt this and then I will put it into the format. So all the numbers will be what we adopt. I'll put it all into the format and give it to the town clerk, and then it has to get submitted to the county by Friday. Is that right?
It's 10 days from your
okay,
adoption,
great. So you have time. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, so we will determine, so in this worksheet, I don't have the real property tax revenue in it, though I have it in the black paper, because if we make any changes, it's just easier if I leave that blank with how the spreadsheet is formatted. But right now, and what I'm proposing, it's the number that I listed off that's on that black and white sheet. So appropriated fund balance stays the same. The pilot goes up to a new tax level, so that is the number that the pilot that we have, payment in lieu of taxes. So that was an increase. So from $4,611 to $7,800. The next change, and again, this is the time to tell me that you do not like these changes. Non-property tax distributed by the county. So this is the sales tax that we get from the county. In 2024, we received $381,927. Year to date, we've received 253,000, but that is only Q1 and Q2. So when I add like exactly what we got for Q1 and Q2 in 2024, like flat, I came up with $409,000 coming in for this budget season. So I went ahead and increased that to 375,000 because everyone says it's gonna go down, it's gonna go down. Now the only caveat with this is that the county share, we get a share of the tax that goes above a certain level from the county. So it caps out. So if they collect an amount over a certain amount, then they do a share with all the towns. That agreement expires, but as far as I know, that it's being renewed. So I just want you guys to know that. And that's about $100,000 a year that we've been receiving. So this,
Thousand of that 435, that's you're on track this year,
yeah, so for this year, we've received it already. We usually get it in June.
but it's included in that.
So it's from the previous year. So
Okay.
I believe we're supposed to be getting it next year and then it expires, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, so I increased that. It should be a decrease in what we actually receive, but a pretty big increase over what I've budgeted. Franchise fee revenues are projected to continue to go down. So this year's franchise fee revenue should probably be more like 105,000. So I budgeted 100,000.
Did they tell you that? Wait, how do you know it's going down? I mean, it's going down, but how do you know it's 105?
It's all the supervisors told me.
You know why it's going down?
I think
Why?
it's just the
Like-
sales. Yeah.
People aren't buying.
Oh, that's only applies to the TV.
Well, I think subscribers in general, but people are.
Right, but not to the internet.
So on the next, nothing on the next page. And then the following page, the chunk in the middle, those are the actual medical insurance revenues from voluntary deductions. So those are the actual, I plugged all of our subscribers, what plan they're on, put the formulas in. So those are all the actuals, so that's why that changed. And so you'll see that, and then below the mortgage tax. This year, we're gonna be getting over $340,000. I've gotten the report on, we're about to get $212,000 from the county.
Sorry, which line are you on?
I'm sorry. It's
3,500.
the third page,
What's the line number?
3,005. So this one,
It's the fourth change.
oh, is it the fourth
Yeah.
page? I'm sorry.
It's the mortgage tax up the top.
Okay.
Fourth page. So the mortgage tax. We're about to get a check for 212,000, so that's gonna put us at 340. So I projected 325. So that was an increase. At our last meeting, I told you guys I was gonna project 300, but I felt like I could bump that up and that's good. So that brings the non-property tax, non-ban revenues to $2,092,160. Any,
What line number is that?
oh, that's not a line number, it's on the,
Under 5730.
it's under 5730 on one. For me, that's the fourth page, I don't know. Oh, I know why, 'cause Stephanie printed those and I printed this one. Okay,
Looks like it's off.
yeah, I have different margins, I'm sorry. Maybe I should.
So I think it's on that same page, Sally, that the mortgage tax was on, it's just a little further down.
Yeah, there's a little gap in the middle of the page,
Yeah,
and it's that, there's two lines.
yeah,
The top one is revenues that are not fund balance and not property taxes. And that second line includes fund balance.
okay,
Um,
below that revenues.
so. You guys good with those changes? That correlates, so this. Letter size blue one, this is what we're adopting. So I put asterisks next to everything that's changing. On this, so when we are doing the adoption, that I will call all of those out. Okay. So next. Is expenditures, so that's what's after that little gap under general government support. Our first change is in the assessor line, which is the 1335. Or 1355. You guys wanted me to drop that position. And so that brings the personnel services 1355.1 to $144,170. So all the changes are in yellow. And then in this document, they have an asterisk next to them. Okay. So then the next one. I did an increase in the attorney section, which is 1420. And so I did double check, I did budget enough for bond counsel. And then under other counsel, because of the lawsuits.
Which lawsuit is that?
We have currently a lawsuit, M&T Advanced Building Solutions,
Okay,
and that is going to all happen in 2026, and we are paying out of pocket for it because our insurance does not cover it. Hopefully that's enough, but everything else is reflective of what we spend just for day-to-day counsel.
and do you have in the budget any contingency in case we do have to pay anything?
I did add contingency back in.
But that's not necessarily associated with lawsuit by M&T.
No. Usually that is, if something like that were to happen, we would do a ban. Like if there was somehow
So
a settlement that was more than it. This budget feels really tight. Okay. So then that was an increase, so that increased our 1420.4 attorney to $106,120. And I don't have any changes for it. And then I added seems a little counter because of some of the cuts we did, but I don't feel, I have not felt good about not having any contingency at all, so I added that back in because I had actually made quite a few cuts, and I thought it was better that we have that in, because then, maybe the assessor wants to have a seasonal person for 8 weeks, then we actually could do that, but we at least have some play.
It's a good idea.
Let me just go. This is like a very anxiety. Did you see that other? I'm like, did I do everything right? Okay. I'm just checking something real quick. Okay, great. Okay. So I added that contingency back in, so that changed. Contingency is its own, it's just its own thing. So that code in the actual budget is 1990.4. Okay. Then the next one is a couple pages later, and it's the housing committee. I just matched their budget request. So last year we spent quite a bit because we did a mailing and we did some info sessions. But then they had submitted a budget request, and that was what they had requested. Or
So we lowered it.
what, am I wrong?
No,
Oh.
you're right.
Okay,
I personally think we should leave it at the 2,500. That's what we have for a lot of the other.
I don't have anybody at that this year.
Is that not what we put the CC in? No,
I
or
lowered
was
it.
not at the last one. Last time. No, that's fine. That's fine then if there weren't any that were for 2,000.
Yeah, I just feel like if they submitted a
yeah.
budget
Yeah.
and if there's something else that's they need, I'm sure we can work it out. Then we dropped the Crohnson pool to 15,000. So that changes the joint recreation projects from 37,900 to 22,900. And then everything else is on the last three, or the end of the budget, I guess, so. The Climate Smart. That grant that is reflected, the only reason why this increased, is I had 11,000 in it, but the way the grant is split up, it's gonna be 16,000 of revenue and 16,000 of expenditures in 2026. So the revenue, oh, did I forget to change? Did I forget to
No,
say
you
that?
did, yeah.
I might have forgotten to highlight that. I don't remember saying it, so
You did.
I did.
I don't think it's.
We changed it to, yeah, is it supposed to be 16,000 and you didn't highlight it?
Okay. That is
It's,
classified funding.
72.
Okay, I need to ask this. Sorry. I don't think we caught that one, Michael.
Which line is it?
It's-
3770,
It's in revenue.
page 32770.
I don't think I caught that one, in here. So I'm gonna have to. Hold on.
Well, it's captured in the total.
It's not captured in this.
Oh,
It's
right,
captured in this.
Well, no, this was based off the totals, all right?
No, Michael. That's why we had to change it line by line. It's okay. I've got it. I just want to change it before I forget. Okay. I captured that. Okay, so then I added $1,000 for climate smart. Part of that is we have 1,500 for ECC, and I think that whatever, those are in the same line, so I kind of feel like I know I feel like between the two, we should be pretty good. So that's the change there, is that it basically went up by $1,000. Nice. Okay. Then the medical insurance, dental, vision, retiree. That is the actual expenditures. And I just want you guys to know that I was just, I think, working too fast, and I fixed those cents. So everything in this version is $1 more, because in the worksheet, I left those cents in. I don't want to deal with cents, so it's actually $1 more. That total health and medical is going to be in this version that we're adopting. And in the version that will be in the appendices, it's 376,545. Or 44. Anyway. I rounded those cents up. Okay. And then the last thing is we do not have to take a ban out this year like we had planned. And I had put in a debt service like principal payment in 2026. And because we don't have to do that this year, we will not be making a principal payment next year, so that is zeroed out. Do you guys want to take a moment and look, see if there's anything?
That was amazing. We'll talk together and remember to tell us. It was amazing, so thank you.
I know we were talking about wanting to look at the code enforcement. See. I know that I budgeted for an additional position, but.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I like left the additional position in there.
Yeah, check that.
Remove the date.
The 664 that one.
Wait, what's the code again?
64. It's that one. Yeah, building inspector.
Oh, did I flip this? Oh, yeah, oops. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, that's not really enough. I don't remember what I budgeted. I mean. We would need to bump, if we wanted like a full-time person and a part-time person, we definitely need to bump that up. But I don't really know. I don't really know. We wanna. How we wanna do that. It's gonna change the budget by like, $35,000 probably.
No. We can do it.
I mean, I feel like,
This is budgeted with full-time, so.
No, it's budgeted with 2 part-time, cause that's what we had. That's what we had kind of a thought. And it was also budgeted with a particular person in mind that had a particular
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah.
And so that's what that represents, but we didn't.
What's the difference between what we're projecting here and the difference in the position that we just cut for the other office?
That was already cut.
It was all, well, I mean,
20, so we cut 20,000.
right.
I also added 20 to contingency.
Contingency.
So there's not really a way to offset that unless we have something else that we're cutting.
But you feel comfortable using the contingency exactly for this, if we have to.
No, what I think would happen is I would have to do like a budget modification and use fund balance for something. You know, we would have to like,
Are we better off just increasing now and didn't miss with that? Or is that what you did want to do?
I mean, I don't wanna go back in that direction, because we're talking about adding like 35,000.
So that would be adding 2 people instead of 1.
so that would,
Oh,
or we just are like, this represents like,
Full-time and a part-time as opposed to 2 part-times. So let's say, I would go with let's do part-times.
okay, we're gonna stay with 2 part-times and if we will cross the bridge when we get to it. Okay. But knowing that we might wanna cross that bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. Okay. I'm just gonna pause and let you guys have a screen moment.
Didn't budget for a fire inspector.
No, we didn't. I mean. The wiggle room that we could have. So at our organizational meeting is when we set a bunch of stuff. The wiggle room we had is we increased the planner by quite a bit. Which is above and beyond what we are paying this year. We also 20,000. So there's. So I originally put in 30, I think. I'm trying to remember what I put in the preliminary. We did that change at a,
It's the CE, planning CE under, that would be the Dolphin or. Sorry, I'm looking at a little one, not the big. 8020.4. Is that it?
yeah. Yeah, the planning. Oh, no, I see, never mind, we did 30. Never mind, I thought we bumped up 30 to 50. So no, that, I don't think we have wiggle room there.
Wait, Aaron, on the. 8020.4,
mhm.
I have it in here as the final budget is 53,900. And you're, it's shorter, and you're.
Yeah, that includes the stipends for planning board members, the
Oh, okay, okay,
software.
Okay.
In the detail, we have professional services, so that's 8020.442. So that's Dave Church. And we had, I had kind of I realized his billing was a little behind in terms of the, the 8,156. Was, and by the way, we've done the budget modification there, so, but in this version, it's showing that we went over budget there, but there is a budget mod. So I was doubling that kind of and being like, okay, that'll be enough, but the billing was behind. So when we met with Chair Jones, we talked about how that 1,500 needed to be bumped up because to use him the way we have been using him was gonna be more than $15,000 this year. And then we talked about having these goals of doing the recommendations that he's started to prepare and how that's gonna take more time. More of his time, so we bumped that one up to 30. So I don't feel like I have a ton of wiggle room there. I had it in my head that I increased it a lot more.
Are we gonna have deputy assessor position filled? At the start of the year, or is that something that would happen mid-year?
I mean, that again is one of those things, so. Those types of things tend to be the cushions and the wiggle room that we use, so like, if that doesn't happen. And then it's like 3 months and there's a little bit of money there that we could move into another personnel line. I've been doing that quite a bit in this
That's-
year's budget,
That's where I think we could potentially,
Slack.
yeah.
yeah. I feel like. You know, I feel like we want to make the decisions that are right for the town, but we also don't know what that is going to be in terms of those positions. So,
And we do have other staff that can potentially perform some of those roles.
yeah. So,
So we're not limited, we're not like gonna have 2 part-time code enforcement officers. There's more people that can support in those roles within the department.
mhm.
So I think we leave it and then,
Aaron, are the court officers listed under the courts personnel? And use?
Yeah. And that we budgeted for a third officer, which is another place where we might have some play. 'Cause
what was that, like 6,500?
I wasn't thinking that way as much as I was thinking, sorry, I'm trying to find. If we are. Potentially changing and changing municipal laws, and doing some editing to those, if there were to be like. Possibly a tweak or reduction, like what we can do with all of those. Is what I was thinking, since we're planning to make a change anyway.
Mhm.
To those laws that wouldn't require so often of
Mhm.
patrolling, so. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know what. I don't have the answer.
I think
tonight.
this makes me feel more comfortable leaving the code enforcement personnel line as is, knowing that we're
That
gonna.
we have other things that balance, yeah, that's what I was kind of saying, like, we might have a surplus of hours from that department. Depending on what changes are made
Yeah.
to that law or not.
Also, the great thing about personnel is that you don't spend it all at once, so we can get someone in a role. And. You know. That they're appointed. For that. So, okay. Anything. That,
It's good.
I mean, I obviously have a lot of anxiety about all these numbers and formulas and
I checked all the formulas.
in the other spreadsheet, but yes.
You didn't change the formulas, right?
No, just that one that I. Okay. So no requests, no changes.
No, you can call your purpose.
That was.
And your bookkeeper's like, I don't know those.
Highway,
So,
You ladies.
highway. Orange. Okay. That first section, those are the actual expenditures. All right, let me back up. Here's what I did to highway, you guys. All the capital projects are now going to be budgeted in capital fund. This is the biggest change to this budget, and hopefully we'll be able to record it. But this is so much better. So much, I'm so happy that I figured this out. It's not rocket science, but
Are we talking about this now?
I'm just letting you guys know that most of the changes in highway is me pulling all of that out and putting in here. So the only thing that's left in this budget is because how do I explain this? With all the revenue and all the debt and all the projects, in 2026, the only thing we were planning on paying is the fee for the issuance of the debt. That was the only thing we were gonna pay for. So that still has to be reflected in the tax levy. So, but we don't tax out of capital, we tax out of the other funds. So where that is that is reflected in here, and I'll show that to you guys, but I'm just basically everything got pulled out. We're still taxing for that amount, but it's everything is in this capital project fund. There is a amount of money in that fund that we're planning on using for a building. So that is also in this plan. So that it is a balanced budget, but that money is in, it's not in unassigned, unappropriate fund balance, it's in the reserve account. So
Are we talking about capital fund right?
I'm just letting you guys know that when we're looking at highway, that's most of the changes. So if I'm like, that is in capital so that you guys are aware and we can look at that. as
You know what our starting balance is in that?
Yeah, it's about like, so there's about 52,000 in there, but 2,000 of it is the New York Rising Fund, and there's just like, I don't know why, but there's like $2,000 in there. So I think that was like a starting balance for that account, but I have to investigate that. So there's a little bit more in there than 50,000.
Wait, Erin, is that parks improvement one? So that's the current fund balance? Of it, or that's what?
That is what was used. So when you use capital fund, what you're supposed to do is when you transfer the money in for a project, it goes into the a special capital reserve account. Because all the money, like finance law, I'm learning a lot, but it's really complicated. We can't use money in capital fund that's supposed to be for park improvements for the cable improvements. Like you have to be able to
No, I know that.
follow the money. So that was put in, that amount of money was put into the account in 2023 from ARPA funding. That's what we used to pay for the bathroom.
Okay, so that's what came out, the 1,042.
142,000 was
Between the
in,
fence.
that was, no, the
No,
fence,
that's what was in there, so minus whatever we spent out of.
the fence was different. This is the park bathroom project. So that was done in capital fund. And all of the money that we needed for that project was already in that bank account when I became supervisor. So the town
Actually from that funding.
board took ARPA money, transferred it in capital, put it in a reserve because we knew we were doing these projects. And then didn't touch it basically until this year when we actually built the bathroom. Does that make sense?
Is this 140,000 and change appropriated?
Yes. That is what balances this budget. So that,
Yeah, that's what I was asking, if that was a fund, like, cause it says reserve for that
It's
line.
like
that's
the
where I was
fund
thinking
balance.
Reserve, like that's a fund balance for next year, that it's just sitting in that account.
No.
It's allocated.
allocated, everything
that's
in
what I-
here is an allocation.
On the word.
Yeah.
It's restricted for.
This, yeah,
Yeah, so
every,
yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out, if that was like, or if it was like the Cablevision one where it's just kind of been sitting there without a project designated.
that one we did spend, so everything,
No, we did, yes, but I just,
yeah,
if it was the same
But
situation.
just so
as-
you, one of the. Not to, I don't know, but that I've never, that stuff has not existed. I've never seen those reports of like how much is in the capital fund, right? So that's one of the things that was challenging for me to figure out here. But basically, in town budgeting, you only ever see things that are allocated or budgeted as an expenditure. So it's not like a balance sheet. So you guys never, you don't see, except in, when I do the AFR, I'll let you know what our fund balance is, but our budget doesn't show us what our assets are.
Yeah,
So-
no, yeah, that's
so
what,
this-
that's where I was confused.
every-
Reserve at the top of that line, I was like, wait, is this what we still?
What this
have?
means is in those years, we used that out of the fund. So that was monies, everything in here is money spent, basically.
Okay, cool, that's what I just wanted to make sure I was.
So,
You release the restriction, you spent it.
and so
Yes,
in,
yeah, when you said ARPA money, that's when it confused me, because I was like, wait a minute, did we not allocate, like. is that
So-
not our-
I, that's why, so in the 2026. I assigned, we haven't done it yet, but this is the plan, is to reallocate. Reserve to a building improvement project, because it'll be a capital project. And we over budgeted for the park. That,
So there is a balance of like.
I think so.
Maybe when we'll
Maybe.
see when you close out.
but
the
what we
grants.
had decided together is that we wanted to use that for the transfer station building. So that, because we have to tear that down, and to tear it down, we need a bathroom for the staff, so anyway.
And did we, what are we doing? Sorry, this is gonna go back to general fund. We had budgeted 20,000 for building demolition this year. Did we use that somewhere?
So no, what had always been put in the budget is a $20,000 revenue and a $20,000 expenditure. And I just zeroed those out because
We've never done.
we've never done it.
What do you mean? Oh, the revenue, like when someone does.
So what the
Building
building demo is like, if we tell someone to demo a building, they have to pay us for it. So it's supposed to balance, but
Yes, but we've never had to, yeah, that's right. Thank you. Sorry,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
it's not our building demo.
I just know we had talked about it last budget season, potentially trying to tackle the barn this year, trying to start planning for it. So I was like, did we actually put that in the budget? And I forgot about it.
Yeah, no, hopefully we can plan for that next year for sure, but we did not. Literally, as I keep saying, literally this budget like doesn't really do anything except like keep the lights on, so. And build 3 bridges, but
So the 5250. That's the demolition,
what? No, that's for,
the beam.
that is for a, this is a placeholder, but that is what we have available to improve the office conditions at the transfer station and increase that size so that we can tear that building down. We can't tear that building down until we have,
It's for the transfer station. It's what
that's just, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a little bit like me saying, okay, we have this money, so that's our budget. So, like, probably not supposed to do it that way, but, okay. Now, highway. Page 1, that first set, those are actuals for employee contributions. The next, 0, that is the county share of the Boyce Mill Bridge project that now that revenue is moved into capital. So I did confirm that, Michael.
Yes.
It carries over in the form,
Huh?
that it carries over in the formula or that.
No,
I thought-
Michael had asked at our last meeting that I confirm with the county that that funding was secured, and it is. Then the next big one, that $2.1 million of federal aid, Bridge New York, moved to. Then the next one, 1.784 million in bond anticipation notes moved to capital fund. So that, again, this makes me feel a lot better that this budget is more reflective of our operating expenses. So it's like way more normal. So the revenue, the non-tax revenue that we have planned for highway is $713,096, which is basically chips, like that's it. Okay. So the next, we're in expenditures. Jessica got quotes back from one of the engineers who can look at the bridges. And basically that came out to $25,000, and I just bumped it up because I don't know if we'll end up going with them, but it was a way that I felt like we could lower it a little bit. But still give us a cushion. And then the next is 5110.4, the Whitfield piling. That I was keeping as its own separate line item, basically, even though it's just part of maintenance of street CE. But I pulled that out because we are going to fund that with the ban. So that is now in capital. And I also confirmed that everything we wanted to do can be covered with a ban. Everything has to be, all the bans are like kind of separate actually, so it has to be approved expenditures. You can't just like take out money. Which is also one of the challenging things, because you can't front money and then get a ban to like repay yourself. You can't do that either. The next one is the big bridges and culverts and bridges line. That's the construction inspection and engineering work that's planned. That's going to be covered by the Bridge New York program. Pulled that out, put that into capital. The next is the machinery and equipment line, 5130.2. So I don't know if we decided this or if I decided this, but in the original preliminary budget, the beam replacement in the highway garage, we were not including that in the ban. And I went ahead and just did that in this version because it really helped.
Makes sense not to take that out of the operating.
Yeah. So that one is now going to be carried over as part of the ban that we'll be paying off over 5 years. So that's completely zeroed out now. Okay. Next, we have that one highlighted. Medical insurance, those are the actual expenditures. And then that 183,000 should have been highlighted. So I have to make sure I might miss that.
I'm sorry, which one?
The in the medical insurance, the actual expenditures is 183,000, and I forgot to highlight it.
Okay,
The other ones also changed, but just,
it's just plus $3,000.
yeah, just,
Okay.
it's silly, but I didn't make a formula for this, and so I like updated it by hand, and that's why
Okay.
if I don't have something highlighted, I have to double check it. Okay, perfect. It's correct and that's correct. Okay. So then we do have someone that's planning on retiring. So I bumped up the employee benefits And then also we've had the vacation buyouts have been like way more popular. Where people sell their vacation time, so that's been way more popular. So I upped that a little bit more based on what we're at now.
So they sell that back at their current pay rate, not at the time that it was accrued.
Yep. So that, this covers the, if someone who's leaving and then, increased to match kind of where we've been at. So I've upped that by 4,000.
And for non-unionized highway employees, is it possible for us to have a policy where it's used every year or paid out every year rather than until?
Both sets of employees have a cap, so you can't carry over more than a certain amount. And you can't buy over a certain amount, so there's a limit. So we can look at that, but I think we changed it this year.
Is that a limit that we said?
It's a limit that we said, yep. And we actually did this year when we changed the policy manual. We had it, so tenured employees can do a higher vacation buyout, and then the non-tenured, it's only 40 hours, I think. And then there's also that cap, so you can't. We're encouraging our employees basically to use their,
Yeah. What defines a tenured employee?
I can't remember what we put in there. It was, we put in a date, it might have been pre-2018, I can't remember. It kind of matched whatever it was, it matched our policy manual. I think it might have been pre-2018. Or maybe we put a number, but
It's a date.
yeah.
It's specific, not period of employment.
Then the ban principal payment and the ban interest payment have been moved to capital. And we're gonna review how I changed those also, but the interest payment, kind of also what I'm thinking of, just like the issuance cost, because it's oftentimes just formatted as a percentage. I have at $81,000 as a transfer to capital project, so that is being taxed, that's a tax. Taxpayers are paying for this, but then we're transferring that money into capital fund.
So the ban issuance cost is paid by the operating budget rather than the capital budget.
Well, the only way to pay for anything out of the capital budget is to take it from a fund and transfer it. Or if it's grant funding, you can have it deposited directly. So we are yes, in essence.
Because normally debt issuance costs would go into the same account as the.
They are as a debt issuance cost, but we're transferring, the only way to show that
Expenses to.
is to
fund
transfer
debt
it.
Operating and then.
Yeah, so we're funding it as a transfer.
So you dropped the 108 for interest. I'm removing 81.
I'm gonna go over that. Okay, so anything for highway?
I am all for separating capital from operating.
Here.
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay, so that makes our total expenses for the highway $2,470,752. Actually, 753, because I rounded those.
Down from 7.2.
Yeah, that's really down from 2.73.
Okay.
Because that big number is in here now.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys, it's taking forever. Okay, so then, just letting you know, basically, I went more after speaking to bond counsel and thinking about it. I'm not sure that we're gonna have to take. Basically, I feel comfortable floating some of this cash flow with fund balance. So that would
It's
reduce.
just to balance out timing issues rather than.
Yes, so that would, because if we're taking out $1.8 million of a ban. That's like $108,000, right? And so I thought, well, it really saves us a nice chunk of money if we don't have to do that. So
Yeah.
what I did is I'm factoring in just a short-term cash flow loan from.
It's just a short-term flood.
Yeah. And because it's just a cash flow. The only thing that we're carrying over into 2027 is $570,000, but that means there's 1.2 that we're hoping.
And you're reasonably certain the revenue that's expected to replenish the flood.
Yeah. Then also I averaged out like the expenses over the period, and it's like never more than it's like $500,000, right? So we're gonna have some, I'm just thinking we're never gonna have to float more than that amount, so.
If we do exceed that, we can always issue a ban.
We will issue another ban, we will pay, and we will pay it out of fund balance. There is some fund balance in highway, believe it or not, but enough to cover that. So that's what the updated issuance cost is, and then the updated principal payment on that in capital fund. The principal payment.
$1,273.
Okay.
1,273,411.
Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Right. Well, it's fine. I'm just seeing that I sort of wrapped that $500,000 still exists in that ban. I think it's fine. But. I would have to add a budget line. I think we're gonna have to do a budget mod next year, but it's fine. The numbers work. I'm probably the only one that sees that. So. It's fine. So that's the biggest change in the preliminary budget, I would say, is that we moved all this stuff out of highway and into the capital fund, so.
And we do not have a separate capital account for non-highway related capital expenditures. It's all in the same capital account.
Right, so what I did is, well, I didn't do this, my predecessor did this, but everything with an H in front of it in the expense side is highway.
Okay.
I think he was just doing that to help, because H is capital fund, but all the other ones are ones that would not be a highway. So if you look at the year to date, or if you look at the historical, nothing that's happened in capital fund has been a highway fund expense for the past 3 years. If you go back further than that. Oh no, we had the truck. We should have had the truck. Oh no, that ended up. It's weird. That truck ended up coming out of. highway. Anyway. It should be kept, there should be a way of knowing, and that's how it's indicated. In this budget,
Okay.
is with those H's. But with, what I was thinking when I was doing this is, we probably should next year for the state aid, federal aid. So the federal aid I broke out to federal aid, local administered federal aid, Bridge New York. So that's only ever gonna be highway. The other federal aid is, ARPA. So that, some of the revenue is broken out already, but we should make sure that the
Clear it.
revenue is clear.
Yes, just so you know what the highway related capital is
Yeah.
versus not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so. Where that brings us. We didn't make any changes, right? So. I'm so not organized. I didn't prepare a resolution. Let's see here. So I'll read all of those changes.
You want to, otherwise I can just follow.
We could
It's
say
all the ones.
the ones- And then this.
Okay.
I mean, I could.
That's cool. Okay, that's.
So we make the adjustments and then we adopt budget.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So are you guys ready? You checking something, Michael?
No.
All right. Uh. I'll make a motion. That the town of Rochester Down Board. Makes the adjustments to the general fund budget. As. Presented and indicated. As indicated and presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Okay. So I'd like to make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board makes the adjustments as indicated and presented to the town board.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. I'd like to make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board. Makes the amendments to the. Capital fund. As presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Um, Also, I wanted to draw your attention to. So the next one we're gonna do, I will read this, because this is what we're adopting with it. I had accidentally put in the wrong number for the Akron Fire District. Now, we don't set that at all, but just it's updated. To reflect what their adopted budget was, so. This is not really we put it in our budget every year, but. The $898,267 is the correct number. In the preliminary budget, I had. Like 900, I had like their total budget number in there. It was just a mistake. So that is a change. And it's correct. Okay.
So, I'm sorry, so the correct number is,
The one that's on the sheet here, but it's different from what was in the preliminary budget. So I just wanna look at my spreadsheets real quick and make sure I have all the right numbers before I call these out, because.
so the mill rate for the fire district is higher than. The town taxes.
The what?
The mill rate for the fire department is higher than the. Town combined highway and general.
Where are you seeing that?
Second page. Second to the last column, estimated rate per thousand. Oh, that's the change.
Oh, it should be,
Sorry,
I don't know why it's, you know what, this. That's not right, it didn't change by that amount.
no, then if you look at the first. Page,
It's 83 cents,
83 cents per thousand.
yeah.
Okay.
It's saying it's,
Okay.
I don't know, I
I
need
guess-
to look at that, I think,
I see, yeah, I was looking at the change rather than,
it looks like the formula is wrong, let me fix that real quick, but. That's not. That's-
yeah, okay.
Okay, hold on,
Stirring the pot. Stirring the pot.
sorry.
I was making a surprising observation based on improper facts.
Just trying to test those old fashioned chops.
Gotta have a abacus.
This was off by $1, so I'm just using it. So the general budget should be 65. There were those cents things were. Okay. That means that the amount to be raised by taxes is 503. Mhm. I know I promised an hour and I'm completely letting you down. All right, 5:00, perfect, okay, and then. 2, 4, 7. Okay, great. And then. I guess we'll do this. So I'll make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board. Adopts the 2026. Final budget. In the amounts as proposed. After amendments. Were made. On November 19th. 2025.
Second.
I'm gonna read them out.
Oh.
So, general fund. Appropriations. $3,485,665. Non-tax revenue. $2,092,160. $2,092,162. Unexpended fund balance, 250,000. Amount to be raised by taxes, $1,143,503.
That captured the 16,000 that was missed, right?
Highway fund. 2026 appropriations. Is $2,470,753. Non-tax revenue, $713,096. No fund balance. With the amount to be raised by taxes, $1,757,657. Capital fund appropriations, $4,785,693. Non-tax revenue, $4,735,000. $4,735,693. With $50,000 of funds used, so that's a zero raised by taxes. The Rochester Ambulance Special District. Appropriations, 219,670. With zero non-tax revenue, zero unexpended fund balance. With the total to be raised by taxes. Oh, I'm sorry, am I supposed to do this? I'm supposed to do this separately. So this is the total district. Is $219,670. And that's the Rochester district is $194,670, with the amount to be raised by taxes, $194,670. High Falls district, 25,000, with amount to be raised by taxes, 25,000. Street lighting districts, the Accord Lighting District. Appropriations, 4,000. $550. Amount to be raised by taxes, $4,550. Cohasson Lighting District, $30,050. Amount to be raised by taxes, $3,050. Berm Lighting District, $850. Amount to be raised by taxes, $850. Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'm just gonna double check that that's $16,000 in there, just like you asked, even though I already did it. Hmm.
I think the final. Or verb needs to be inserted in.
The word berm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spreadsheet cut it off in the printout. We'll reformat that. Yeah, it's included in those numbers. It's just, I have to asterisk it. You. In what I presented, that has, those two lines have to be asterisked, so the 2770 is a change. And I'll make sure that that's reflected in the record. So it should go from 11 to 16.
Yeah.
But the number that I just gave is,
The grand total is good.
the grand total is good because it was in my worksheet. But I forgot to type it. Okay. All right, we call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. I would like to ask for a resolution allowing me to enter into a shared services agreement with Marbletown for code enforcement.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. I'll make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board reappoints Pat Davis to the position of seasonal MEO for the final quarter of 2025 at the rates in the collective bargaining agreement. Machine engine operator?
Machine equipment.
Oh, machine.
Bam.
All right.
Second.
Did I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. So now we have to do this real quick. Then I'm gonna have a resolution to pay these abstracts. So we just need about 15 minutes to do that, but we can go ahead and stop streaming. And I will get those. Thank you guys. I'm sorry it's even longer this.